Hello and welcome back to Psych Passion, the coolest psychology project on the flipping internet. My name is Nadia Di Nicola. I'm a psychology student at the University of Vienna and let's get right into it. But before we talk about the nocebo effect today, I would like to address something I said in my last video. And it incremented the happiness of 58%. Yes, exactly that. And the thing is here that I wasn't 100% right. I just rounded the number from 0.17 to 0.2, but it's still an inaccuracy. And the thing is, I was thinking about it a lot actually while I was not uploading videos, and I just realized, okay, I'm the first person to get so pissed at any type of inaccuracy, and I want to be accurate. I want to give you good knowledge, solid knowledge that is in no way rounded into any kind of direction, so that you can form your opinion on good, valid facts. That's also why I always link every paper in the description that I read. And that's also why this is never going to happen again. I hope you can forgive me. I don't think anyone noticed, but still I noticed, and so it's been haunting me. Now that I've got that off my chest, let's get into the nocebo effect. And don't forget to look at my next video as well, because there we're going to talk about the COVID vaccine and the nocebo and how they're related. To know what the nocebo effect is, we actually have to know what the placebo effect is. And many of you already know, but I'll explain it real quick. The placebo effect is the effect of a treatment that actually doesn't exist or shouldn't actually be helpful. It's, for example, a pill that is given to me to relieve stress. So my doctor gave me a pill to relieve stress, so I can just chill a little bit more, and I feel the relief. I'm so happy. And then later on, I find out he literally gave me powdered sugar. Why did it work? Well, because of the placebo effect. He told me what the effect of the pill or of the meds will be, and that's exactly what happened to me. The phenomenon of the placebo is actually super important for us, because we can have clinical trials with a placebo group. Now, what does that mean? It means that when we test for a new treatment, maybe drugs or therapy or anything else, we can divide the participants that will try the new treatment into two groups. Now, one group will actually receive the pill, for example, with the effect, and should show a certain effect, right? So they actually get the meds. Now the second group, they get a sugar pill and are told the same thing as the other group. So the two groups don't know in which group they are. They both think that they are in the group with the actual medication. Even just telling people that they will see some effect, that actually has an influence. And so we can see now, okay, what's just the people thinking that there's going to be effect, and what is actually the real effect of the drug. And that's how clinical trials are performed nowadays, and I think it's a really good method, and it gives us a lot of clarity as well. So all good, we know what the placebo effect is, but what is the nocebo effect? The nocebo effect is part of the placebo effect, but it's all the negative sides. So all the side effects we experience even though we just got the sugar pill, or all the effects we think are correlated to the medicine but actually aren't, and are just normal things that happen in our daily lives and that we think are due to the medicine. These are labeled nocebo, and it's always negative. I actually stumbled across the nocebo phenomenon by this really cool book that is missing in my collection today. And it's Viva la vagina in German, or Gleden med skeden in Norwegian. I hope I pronounced that right. Thank you, Charlotte, for your help. It's a really cool book, and they give the example of the contraception pill for the nocebo phenomenon, and I'll get to that in a second. It's really good. I recommend this book to everyone with a vagina, to everyone who knows someone with a vagina, lives near to someone with a vagina, and to everyone else as well. Educate yourselves. It's really important. The book was written by Nina Brochmann and Ellen Stöckendal, and it's a really, really cool book. They were both medical students at the time, and yeah, they of course linked many papers to it. It's scientific, but it's also so much fun to read. It's easy to read, and it's just, you can find everything on contraception, vaginas generally, how they work, how they look, what to expect from what method, and what misconceptions do we have. And they also cited a really interesting paper about the nocebo effect. And after a lot of searching and finally some software piracy, I was able to find the study that I was looking for. Yes. The study is from 2002, so it's pretty old, but it's really cool. A review paper, so it's reviewing many different studies. And yeah, it has some really great information in there that I want to present to you. I'll just present you 3 pearls that I found, because there's much more to the study. If you want, you can always read it. Of course, I'll leave the link in the description below. Number 1. When patients with food allergies were injected a saline solution, and were told that this was the allergen, 1/4 of them showed allergic symptoms. 1/4. 25% were actually allergic to the thought of the thing they're allergic to. Impressive, isn't it? Number 2. Penicillin allergy is one of the things that, many people know of. It's common knowledge, and actually up to 10% of hospitalized patients say that they do have a penicillin allergy, which of course restricts the treatments that doctors can give them. But in this study, they found out that 97% of adults and 94% of children, of these percentages, like of these 10% that they actually said that they are allergic to penicillin, are actually not allergic to penicillin. They gave them penicillin orally, and they showed no allergic reactions. Impressive, right? 94 to 97%. So how can it even be possible that these people thought that they were allergic to penicillin, you might think? Well, it's very common that people, when they know something could suscitate some problems, actually overinterpret just normal everyday pains. So instead of seeing some pains as simply symptoms of being alive, people may attribute them to a medicine or a certain food or something. And in case of medicine and stuff, that's of course a problem, because then you don't want to be treated with that anymore. And that leads us to point number 3, where the study showed that only 19 to 27% of healthy, non-medicated individuals had no symptoms in the last 3 days. That means that 73 to 81% of healthy, non-medicated individuals actually had symptoms in the last 3 days. That's impressive. Like, we're such a weak species. I'm just, how did we even survive? Now, do you see what I'm trying to tell you though? Often, random pains are attributed to medicines, or we hear something about a medicine and we just attribute or think that this is happening to us, and then it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. Now, let's talk about a very common example, birth control pills. Now, I'm very sure that you've heard about some negative symptoms of birth control pills, probably in the recent past, especially if you are a woman considering taking birth control. And of course, every single experience of every woman that has taken birth control and has had problems must be taken seriously. But we should pay a lot of attention if we want to decide for ourselves, judging upon the experience of a friend or a friend's friend or a friend's friend. Because why? Well, first of all, the scientific knowledge behind it is that 50 years ago, birth control pills were so much higher in dosage. Like, they just threw hormones at you. Like, it was impressive how much more they actually put into those pills. Nowadays, we have way less hormones in these pills, and they have been like tested over centuries on women, and yeah, they are nowadays though suscitating like more side effects than they did years and decades ago. How can that be possible? Like, that sounds just ludicrous. How can nocebo effects nowadays like be more common than years ago, where the same hormones were administered but in way large doses? Like, if it shows so many symptoms today, how would have women in older days like be able to even live on those? Well, it doesn't make sense, kind of, but of course it does make sense if we look at the psychological base behind it and at the nocebo effect. People have grown very afraid of the pill. People have heard something that a friend has told a friend, and of course, you always have to think. Very scary stories stick in people's mind, so that's the first thing they're going to tell you. They're not going to tell you about that friend that once told them, yeah, okay, they actually caused me a bit of acne for like 2 months, but then it was fine. And they're not going to tell you the story about that friend that was just happy on birth control and then that was it. That's not a very interesting story. Everyone forgets those types of stories, but they will never forget that friend that had that one big problem with it, right? So they would tell you that story, and you should be careful, because you're not getting a unbiased opinion. You're getting a very, very biased, small opinion. Now, who are the people who are actually going to experience these symptoms or will attribute symptoms to something that doesn't actually cause these symptoms? Well, first of all, people that expect to have symptoms or certain effects, because it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Or people who have been conditioned, which could be, for example, if you've had your first vaccine and then you've got a headache. Next time when you'll go in to get the second vaccine, you'll see the needle and you'll actually get a headache just like that, even though the vaccine is not in your body yet. And people with depression and anxiety, actually, they also are very prone to the nocebo effect, to experiencing the nocebo effect, and even people who somatize a lot. Am I saying side effects don't exist? No, of course not. Side effects do exist, and in some meds they do more than in others, and in some foods they do more than in others, and in some activities they do more than in others. And scientists, doctors and pharma industries, they should never ever deny side effects. And as you can read on any like package of a pill or anything, they do actually not deny the side effects. They show you and give you a list until, I mean, literally death usually, because they don't want to be sued afterwards. And I think that there's a lack sometimes, especially with vaccines, that there should be, in my opinion, a centralized institution who you can actually report your symptoms to, and that will actually, give you some advice and so on, so you can feel more safe. And yeah, so that there can be a little bit more of transparency when it comes to symptoms. So where to get the information from? Where can you actually get good information from? Well, usually I'd say from your doctor, but maybe you don't like your doctor, or I don't know. So maybe ask 3 doctors, so you have 3 different expert opinions. But if you just don't have the money or the time, or don't like doctors, or think they don't know enough about that, they know more about the disease than about the meds themselves, then fair enough. Go to your pharmacy, talk to your pharmacist. They are the ones, you have to think, they give out pills and meds all day long, every day. So they know their customers, and they know who comes back and complains. They know who comes back and just picks the meds up and is happy. So maybe they actually have a better overview over which meds do have some side effects and which don't. Because, as you know, often you do feel some things, but you don't report it. And maybe you just say it to a friend, or maybe you just say it to your pharmacist, but then you never go and talk to your doctor about it. But the pharmacist, I think he will know, or she will know, what's going on and which meds usually actually work really well for the people. But my biggest thing is still, don't ask people who have no idea about the subject, because you wouldn't do that with any other thing either, right? If you want to know about electronics, you don't go and ask your doctor about it. No, you go to an electrician and talk to him about it. So don't do it vice versa with medicine either. Go to your doctors and talk to them about it. And because if you just go around, you'll hear a lot of negatively biased information. You'll get more stressed and you'll get more prone to actually fall prey to the bad nocebo effect. And that's just well, thanks a lot for watching. This is the end of the video. If you've learned anything new, hit the like button, and I'll see you with the very controversial topic next week. See you then.